So welcome, dear participants, and welcome again to this deep dive session from wherever you are following us to this deep dive with Hartmut Dorgerloh, General Director of the Humboldt Forum in Berlin, and Benita von Maltzahn, Director of Global Cultural Engagement of the Volkswagen Group. My name is Fabian, and I will be your host for the next two deep dives. We are very happy to have you two with us. And with that, you will take the time to answer the questions. So thank you too. Just a short note on how you can participate in this deep dive. If you have a question, there are three ways to include them in this discussion. The first one is via direct audio in this webinar. Please click on the raise your hand icon, which you can find in the menu bar at the bottom of your screen. As soon as it is your turn, I will call you by name and enable your audio. Please unmute yourself so you can ask your question. And as soon as you have asked it, we will turn off your audio again. Your video won't be used. If you prefer, you can also ask the question by writing in the chat of this webinar, or you use our online forum at campus.re-publica.com if you are following from a website or YouTube. So we will include those questions as well coming through campus.re-publica.com. And I would say, let's start. Let's begin with Benita von Maltzahn's reaction to the sprint by Hartmut Dorgerloh.
Thank you, Fabian. Hello, Hartmut, and nice to meet you because we haven't in real life. So
nice to meet you too. Hello, Benita.
It was first of all, actually, I like to say that I really like the drawing behind you. Listening to you and looking at the drawing, because if I can see it rightly on the left, there's a lot of people. I'm not quite sure if they're on the roof, if they're in the sky, but there's a lot of human beings experiencing the Schloss or the Forum. And I think that's something that you said, that it's important, it should be open, it should be an open space for all people. So I sort of like the drawing behind you. This comes across. You also said, and that I thought was very interesting, the role should be a power station and to empower people and get everyone to come and go. It's 24/7. A lot of the work that we do is also about giving as much people as possible access to art and culture. And I think it's important that we do that, especially maybe in Berlin. I'm not so sure of our museums, and maybe a little bit, people don't, I don't know, they're not scared, but they don't go maybe as much as they should. And I think if they have an open space like you will have, like you said it will be, we're all really excited, where dialogue can happen, where lots of different things can happen, and you don't need to be scared to go because you pick why you go and what you want to see and what you want to experience. I think that's something that will be really good for the city, and people will, take it and enjoy it. And a lot of dialogue and creativity will come out of it. So I think that's, it's really, I'm very much looking forward to seeing in the end what it will all be. So
it's the same for us, because we are talking about the future, and we hope that we will start with the opening end of this year. And thank you first for mentioning the painting behind me. It was made by, or created by pupils from Berlin as part of one of our activities in preparing the cultural program with school kids from Berlin. And so it is a very good inspiration for me because it's behind my desk.
I would like to give the word or give the floor to Katarzyna. Katarzyna, you have the chance to speak. Please unmute your microphone.
Hello, thank you very much for the wonderful talk. I have a question. You're saying a lot about empowerment and access, about the 24/7 access to the forum. Can you tell, how does the Humboldt Forum empower the public? Like, give specific examples. And does the forum share power with the public? Is it just the access, or the public actually gains some sort of power as well?
Thank you for this question. I think it's very complex, and you are describing our biggest challenge, how to create an open space, a real forum, without dominating it. It's to create an open space where everybody can go in, just drop in and enjoy what we are offering on the one hand side, and on the other side, bringing their own opinions, their own wishes, their own positions into our programming. And so we are working in different fields, not only in cultural program, but also in education and in exhibition making, in various kinds of presentations, not only exhibitions, permanent and temporary. And so what we want to create is really an open house, an open space where you can just enjoy watching the skyline of Berlin, visiting the roof terrace and enjoying a good coffee there. This is also a way how to use the building, or how to enjoy what the building offers. But on the other side, it is our interest to learn from people not only visiting the building, and that is why digital technologies and digital ways of communications will be playing a very important part of our work and of our program, to invite people from other parts of the world to become a partner in creating what we call the Humboldt Forum. So we are not talking about a museum. Of course, we are exhibiting collections, but it's not only presenting it, it is how to deal, how to work, how to use this as a material for other questions, for your questions. So that's the complexity is something to create a bridge between a location manager on the one hand side, and on the other side of a program manager, how to create a program inviting people. So that's something we try to do, and that means we are not doing this alone. We are doing this with various partnerships with different partners, with different audiences, and so we hope that it is something not only important for Berlin but also for other communities.
There was one question coming in through our online tool at campus.republica.com, which I think refers to your statement, Benita, which asks, how can we make people less scared of museums, especially in the case of Berlin, as people tend to be scared to go to museums? And maybe you can also describe what you are doing to make people less scared of the Humboldt Forum.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, scared isn't the right word. I didn't really want to use that, but I know that because we've supported, there is a free entry day at the Hamburger Bahnhof in Berlin once a month, every Thursday. And we asked people that came, we did a research if they normally go to museums or why they don't go, and was it just because of the entry? And I think, or the entry fee. I don't think it is just because of the entry fee, but it helps if they know they can always go there. And I think maybe at the Humboldt Forum it will also be good that they can have a lot of different programs. So it's not just the exhibition or the collection they go and see and might say, I don't even know if I know enough about it, because they don't need to know a lot about it. They should, learn. That's why they should go. So I could imagine that the Humboldt Forum people will feel more relaxed to go and say, I can choose. I mean, that's how I imagine it will work. There'll be lots of different programs and exhibitions and performances, you said, so they can choose and see what they would like to experience.
Perhaps I can add two other points, perhaps more technically. The one is we have different opening hours comparing to other traditional museums. So we try to be open longer so that there's not such a sharp cut between the opening hours of the exhibition and the cultural programs in the evening, for example. And this is one thing. And the other thing, the Humboldt Forum will be free of charge. So you can just drop in, go up to the rooftop, or just jump into one of the museum exhibition, and also of some special exhibitions. In some other cases, we will charge an entrance fee for concerts, for dance performances, for lectures, for whatever. So, but it will be always a combination of something that is free. It is a little bit like, it's not a shopping mall, it is a shared apartment. So you can jump into one room to see what happened there, and perhaps it's free. And then, of course, you have to buy a ticket for some special activities and performances. So it will be a combination. And we hope that we will attract people just coming along. It's located on the main tourist axis between Brandenburger Tor and Alexanderplatz in Berlin. And on the other side, we hope that people who are not interested in the colonial past or in museum collections will come for a yoga class or for a theater performance or for some drawing lessons or whatever we will offer.
We have one more question coming in through our online tool at campus.riemann-publica.com. Paula is asking that Kavita Singh stated in her sprint on Monday, so yesterday, that even though museums remain the same institutions globally, their function is very different when it comes to their social function. So how would you describe the social function of the Humboldt Forum?
I think there are at least two functions. One is for the local or for the regional audience. It is a new cultural hotspot worth to visit. It is something that tried to create this new space of experiences, bringing together art and academics and performing art with museums and so on. And the other purpose could be something for an audience internationally. That means not only as a reason for coming to Berlin, because many of the people we are working with are not able, or for them it's not so easy to go to Europe as just getting a visa. So it starts with these very basic problems. But to create a space that allows us to find new ways of communication about our common past. That means mostly about the colonial past, about the Western dominated periods of history, about our understanding. I think we have a lot to learn from each other. And I think it is part of our history that was always overshadowed by the crimes during the Nazi regime and by the period of two German states. So I think could be something like a platform for common learning about an overshadowed part of our common history. And that is, I think, is something that is important not only for a national or a regional audience. It is something it's important also for partners worldwide.
And we have 3 minutes left in this deep dive, and at the moment, no further questions. So I'd like to ask you, Benita, whether you, as you haven't met personally, if you have any question concerning the Humboldt Forum or concerning the sprint that we heard to Hartmut Dorgerloh.
Yes, I do actually. You said that you're 4 different institutions working together. How will they work together?
Oh, that's something what we try to learn, because these are important institutions, the Humboldt University, the state museums. They have their own history, their own, as we call it, DNA. And so we try to create a new way of partnership, because we believe that there are many things we can share, and that many things exist we can learn from each other via sharing. So it is something like coming together and creating and joining a shared apartment with institutions without having any experience in joining these ways. But we have something together that means our audience. We will have one audience, and we are talking about the Humboldt Forum, but it will be not only based on 3 or 4 pillars, it will be also organized by 4 actors. And so this is finding a balance between your own programs and what you are doing together, like what we call a WG in Deutschland, a shared apartment.
So there will be programs. So it won't just be a location and 4 different institutions in there, but there'll actually be cooperation between and...
Yeah, one website. So the audience have not to switch from one website to another. There will be only one program we offer to everyone. But it will be created by different partners from different sources.
I would like to include one more question before we come to an end of this deep dive by Julia Gonella, who was also asking through campus.republica.com. With so many different activities, does the Humboldt Forum keep a focus and above all a vision? And what do you think will it contribute to for the young generation?
What's young? I think one of our main activities will be in this field of education. And so I'm a little bit jealous because in English, education combines Bildung und Erziehung. That's a slightly but important difference in German language. So that it's not only a place of learning, but also a place of understanding. And so we are preparing a lot of activities in this field, and we will start. And this should show also how important the younger generation is for us. We will start with an exhibition that is dedicated to kids between 6 and 12. The title is Take a Seat. As the Humboldt Forum will take a seat in the city, every generation and every culture has its own tradition in sitting and seating, and we will talk about this. So it will be a tour d'horizon through all kinds of sitting, of placement, and I think it will be not only something educative, but will be also a lot of joy joining this workshop or this atmosphere of a learning space and an experience space we will create, and we will start with this in January next year. So, and perhaps it's not only for the kids, but also for their parents and grandparents.
That sounds like a really exciting place to start sitting. So I would say I look very much forward to the opening. Thank you very much for taking the time to answer our questions. And it was wonderful to have you with us, Hartmut Dorgerloh. Benita will remain with us for the next deep dive with Gus Casely-Hayford, whose sprint you already saw. So thank you again, Hartmut, and we will continue in just a minute.
Thank you.